Okay. So welcome back to the today's session of Elements of Civil Engineering. So in the previous class we are discussing about the moment, that is the external, that is the tendency of the force to rotate the any body. So if any body is there, so in order to rotate this body, so whatever the force, the external agency, the tendency of the force to rotate the body, what we are calling it as a moment, and that moment you are calculating, that is force into perpendicular distance. I have given the many of the examples to understand what you the concept of moment. You just go through that and you can understand what you mean by the moment. So now the another parameter is what? The couple of a force. So couple means what? You can observe in the figure, the two forces are there, equal magnitude. Equal magnitude means the same forces. If it is 10 kilonewton, this is also 10 kilonewton. So then only it forms the couple. Two forces, two equal, opposite and parallel forces constitute a couple here. So the best example for the couple force is the steering of the vehicle. It may be car or it may be any vehicle. So whatever the steering is there, so you are applying the force equal and opposite direction. So whenever you are rotating the steering, so we are applying the force like this, right? So then this type of force system we are calling it as a couple here. And in this we will come across horizontal, clockwise couple as well as the anti-clockwise couple. So whatever the figure you are observing here, so this is the force system which is forms the clockwise couple. So means the force is rotating here, this is clockwise, and this force is rotating here. So the best example is steering. This is what the clockwise couple. And we can observe the anti-clockwise couple also. If two or more forces, couple means two equal opposite forces, parallel forces, which will forms the couple here. So whatever the figure you are observing, so this constitutes the anti-clockwise couple. There are two types, one is clockwise and another one is anti-clockwise couple. And regarding the moment calculation, so whenever you need to calculate the moment of a couple, so then need not to consider both the forces. The moment of a couple is always equal to the one of the force. One of the force means two forces are equal here into the perpendicular distance or a lever arm. So the moment of couple. So because these two moments are equal, so therefore only the steering is rotating. So the moment of couple is equal to it is the product of one of the force into the lever arm. So and we can see some of the characteristics of the couple. So means characteristics means however you have already aware about the characteristics of the forces. So like that, so we can have some of the properties of the couple. So what are all those properties means? Two equal forces are there, opposite forces, parallel forces required to form a couple. So means whatever the characteristics of the couple we are talking here. And as I told you, the moment, the magnitude of a moment of a couple is always equal to the product of magnitude of one of the force and moment arm. Moment arm is nothing but the perpendicular distance between the two forces. You can observe. So what I told you, so this is what the moment of a couple. So we cannot consider the two forces. We can consider one of the force into the perpendicular distance will give you the moment of a couple here. And the resultant force of a couple is 0. So try to understand this meaning. The resultant force of a couple is 0. Means what? Here in the couple, how many forces are there? How many forces you are observing in this couple? Yes. How many forces are there in this? Two forces. So it is the known thing that couple is forming only by having the two forces. So if you want to calculate the resultant, so here there is no any inclined forces are there. F, which is moving upward, plus F, and one force is moving downward, that is minus F, therefore it is 0. So means the resultant of a couple is always 0. The resultant of a forces of the couple is always 0. So, and as I told you, we are having the clockwise couple and the anti-clockwise couple. So this is what the simple concept of the couple. So means couple means what, and what are all the characteristics of the couple here. Yes, is it clear? Is it clear? Okay. Okay. So then we can move for the one of the important theorem, that is Varignon's theorem is there. So let us see what do you mean by the Varignon's theorem. So try to concentrate on the explanation here. So we know that the concept of the moment. So this Varignon's theorem is mainly based on the moment concept here. So what it actually says, if you are having the number of forces, it may be 1, 2, 3, 4, so number of forces are there. So then actually according to this theorem, what it says, the moment of individual forces acting on a body is equal to the moment due to the resultant. So means what, if you are having the forces, that is F1 is there, F2 is there, so like that F1, F2 or a number of forces, F1 and F2. So according to this principle, and the resultant of this, let us consider that as a F. That is because of resultant we are having the force, that is the resultant of F1 and F2 is F. So what is the meaning of this Varignon's theorem means, that is statement, the moment of a force system, that is summation of the moment of all the forces acting on a body at a point is equal to the moment due to their resultant. So means if the moment of a force, whatever the resultant is there, F into D. So okay, that F into D is the moment due to resultant. So according to the theorem, that is F1 into D1, if it may be the perpendicular, D1 is the perpendicular distance from the F1 to the line of action, plus F2 into D2. That is what the theorem you need to prove here. So now you can read out the statement. So the Varignon's theorem states that the algebraic sum of moments due to all the forces, it may be 2, 3, 4, acting on a object at any point is equal to the moment of their resultant about the same point. So that is what the statement of Varignon's theorem. So if 2, 3, 4 forces, if the number of force systems are there, then moment due to all the forces, that is summation of algebraic sum of moment due to all the forces is equal to the moment due to the single resultant about the same point. So that is what the meaning of that is the statement of this Varignon's theorem. So if you are considering, if a beam is there, number of forces are acting, that is vertical, horizontal, number of forces. Suppose this is the point A. So then moment of, that is summation of moment of all the forces about point A is equal to the summation is equal to the moment of their resultant. It may be the resultant lies here, that is because of all the three forces there may be a one resultant. The summation of moment due to all the forces is equal to the moment due to the resultant about the same point. So that is what the statement you need to prove here. That is statement of Varignon's theorem. So that you need to prove. Yes, have you understood this statement?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So now in order to prove that, let us consider the schematic representation. So you can observe here. So I have considered the x and y coordinate system. So in that I have considered the two forces. Just I will draw here the same thing. So how I have drawn, you just understand. So this is what the x and y coordinate system. So in that we need to consider the two forces, that is F1, one force, and another force F2. So F1 and F2 be the two forces acting on a body. Then the resultant of that force is represented by F. This is what the resultant. So this is F1 and F2 are the two forces acting on a body. The resultant of F1 and F2, let it be F. That has been considered in this. So now if you want to calculate the moment, we need the perpendicular distance. So let us consider any one of the point on the y-axis. You just consider any one of the point. You can observe O point I have considered here. O point that on the y-axis. So now from the forces, what is the perpendicular distance to that point? You just draw the construction lines. That is from F1 force, you need to draw the perpendicular line. That is from F1, the perpendicular distance is D1. Clear? So from the F1, at this point you have drawn the perpendicular distance. This is perpendicular to F1. So then from the same point you just draw the perpendicular line to F2. This is F2. Let us consider this as D2. Similarly, draw the perpendicular line for the resultant, that is D. Is it clear how to construct? So that is only I have drawn here. This is the F1 force, you can observe. So from F1 point O, I have drawn the perpendicular here. That is D1. And from F2, draw the perpendicular D2. And from F, draw the perpendicular, that is D. That is why we require, because moment is equal to force into the perpendicular distance. So now inclination with respect to that forces. So means F1 is a force which is making an angle theta 1 with respect to x axis. F1 makes an angle theta 1 with respect to x axis, and F2 makes an angle theta 2 with respect to x axis, and F is a force which makes an angle theta with respect to x axis. Respectively, F1 theta 1, F2 theta 2, F theta. So we are having a theorem, or we are having a principle. If any force making an angle theta with respect to horizontal axis, then the perpendicular drawn to that force makes an angle same theta with respect to y axis. Try to understand. So means what? If you are having a force system, so if any one force is there which is making an angle theta with respect to x axis, then according to the principle, perpendicular drawn to that force makes an angle same theta with respect to y-axis. So according to this theorem, we can write, you can observe in the this figure, theta 1, that is angle between this F1 and horizontal axis. So therefore perpendicular drawn to F1 means here, that is making same theta 1 with respect to y-axis. Again F2 making an angle theta 2 with respect to x-axis, and perpendicular drawn to F2. Perpendicular drawn to F2 means this, makes an angle same theta 2 with respect to y-axis. Then F makes an angle theta with respect to x-axis. Then perpendicular drawn to F makes an angle same theta with respect to y-axis. Based on the principle we are having, if any force making an angle theta with respect to x-axis, then perpendicular drawn to that force makes an angle same theta with respect to y-axis. Yes, is it clear with this? Why that angles are theta 1, theta 2, theta 3, sorry theta? Yes, is it clear all of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so based on that we have considered here, so whatever the this schematic representation. So now using the triangles, you can observe the different triangles here. So using that we need to prove the our Varignon's theorem. So whatever the triangle, so you just observe, we are having the triangle because of F1 force, that is one side is same, and this is one of the triangle, that is OA. You can just consider 1, 2, 3, so whatever they were reference. So and again we are having the triangle, so this is the common side, this is the common side, this is one triangle we are having. In this triangle, this is theta 1 and remaining is 90 degree. Similarly, we are having the different triangles. While solving, I will explain you by considering the particular triangle. So now let us consider, so as I have explained you the same thing here. So means what? Consider the two forces F1 and F2 making an angle theta 1, theta 2 with respect to x-axis. So whatever the consideration you have considered to draw the schematic representation, that you need to write in words here, that's it. And it is having the concurrent origin, that this is what the concurrent origin A, and the resultant, their resultant makes an angle theta with the x-axis. That resultant makes an angle theta with the x-axis. Now the perpendicular distance of F1, F2 about point O, F1, F2 and F about point O is D1, D2 and D respectively. So there is no any new thing here. So whatever the figure shows, that you need to write here. So now what you have to do? So now you have to take the moment of all the forces, that is F1, F2, F about O point. So you have to consider the moment of all the forces about point O. This is what our point O. So according to that, the moment of a force F about point O. Just observe the figure and tell me what is the moment of a force F about point O. What is the moment of a force F about point O? So this is our force, and what is the perpendicular distance to the line of action? So this is the point we need to find out the moment here, this point. F into what is the perpendicular distance? About O point, what is the perpendicular distance here? F into D. Clear? Force into perpendicular distance. We are taking the moment about this point. F is force and perpendicular distance between F and the axis where we need to find out the moment, or the point where we need to find the moment. Force into perpendicular distance, that is F into D. Yes, is it clear why it is F into D? Yes, are you following or not? So you can see here, moment about point O. So we are having the three forces F, F1 and F3. F1 and F2. So moment due to F1, F2, F3 you need to consider. So that is force F about O. Moment due to force F about O is what? Force is here and perpendicular distance is D. Force into perpendicular distance. So that is moment about O because of F is equal to what? F into D. And again moment due to F1. So what is the moment due to F1 about O here? Moment due to F1 about O. Are you not getting? Okay. Now observe here. Moment of force F about O point. Moment of force F about O point. So just try to observe the figure. Our F force is here and perpendicular distance is how much? What is the perpendicular distance? It is D. F into D. That is moment of force F about point O is equal to what? F into D. Yes, is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So now you can observe F into D. So but what is the distance of D that you need to find out by applying the trigonometric functions? Just consider the triangles and find out the value of D, D1 and D2. So you can observe in the figure, I will explain you. First you need to consider the triangle. Just I will draw and highlight you, then you can understand easily. So now consider this triangle. Consider this triangle. So now this is 90 and what is this angle? This is theta. Clear? So from this apply cos theta. What is the cos theta from that triangle? Cos theta. This is 90 degree, this is theta. Cos theta value adjacent by hypotenuse. Adjacent means this side, right? Hypotenuse is this side. That is, this side means B divided by hypotenuse is how much? OA. OA. Yes, is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So now from this you can write D is equal to OA cos theta. D is equal to OA cos theta. Similarly, you need to find out D1 and D2. So now I will highlight with the different colors. Try to understand. So now in order to find out D1, you need to consider this triangle. This one and hypotenuse is same. So now this is 90 degree and what is this angle? Theta 1. D1, the corresponding is theta 1. So now from this, what is the value of cos theta and what is d1? Cos theta is how much? By that green triangle?
D1 divided by
Correct. d1 divided by OA
1.
is your cos theta 1. Right? So from this you can write d1 is equal to OA cos theta 1. Cos theta 1. Similarly, we need to find out d2 by considering another triangle here. Just I will highlight you, that is this triangle. This one. Okay, this one, and the remaining side is this. This is 90 degree, and what is this inclination? d2 theta
2.
theta 2 here, correct, theta 2. So by this we can write d2 is equal to what is the value of d2? By seeing this one, OA cos theta 1, that is
OA cos theta 2.
OA cos theta 2. So now you have obtained the value of d1 and d2, that distances. The same thing that has been mentioned here. That is, you can observe from the triangle cos theta is equal to d by OA. Similarly, d is equal to OA cos theta, d1 OA cos theta 1, d2 OA cos theta 2. Is it clear? So this is what the value. So now you need to observe. You just take the OA outside here from this equation we have written. So that is d value. So here they have substituted the d value. D is equal to OA cos theta. So from this equation just take OA outside and keep f cos theta. So now you need to observe from the figure, f cos theta means what? You just observe, I will explain you. So you consider this figure. So what is the horizontal and vertical component of force F here? Just tell me the horizontal component of force F. Horizontal component of F is what?
F cos theta.
F cos theta, correct. F cos theta is the horizontal component, F cos theta. Similarly, you can consider both the figures. Just for your clarity, I am writing here. So horizontal component of F is F cos theta. So means we can substitute F cos theta as horizontal component of F, that is Fx.
Fx.
Yes, correct. Similarly, what is the horizontal component of F1? Horizontal component of
F cos theta 1.
that is F1 cos theta
Cos
1,
theta
correct. F1 cos theta 1 is correct. So we can write it as F1, that
voice break ಆಗ್ತದೆ.
F1x.
is Fx1 or F1x.
F1.
Okay, if there may be a network issue, all are hearing the voice. Those who are not hearing, just I will post the videos later, you can go through that. So okay, F1 cos theta 1, we can write it as Fx1, correct? So then similarly, what is the horizontal component of F2 here?
F2 cos theta 2.
F2 cos theta 2, correct. F2 cos theta 2, and we can write it as Fx2, correct? Fx2, Fx1, Fx2. The same thing they have taken here, that is F cos theta, we can write it as Fx. Yes, is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So from similarly, the moment about force F1 about O. Similarly, you can observe F1 about O means, you can see here, F1 is force here, this force into perpendicular distance is d1. So therefore F1 into D1. Similarly F2 into D2. So that is what the simplification here. The moment about force F1 about O is equal to F1 into D1. Yes, is it clear about why it is F1 into D1? Have you understood this?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So then similarly you can write the D1 value OA cos theta 1. So again you just take OA outside here, F1 cos theta 1. So F1 cos theta 1 you can write it as Fx1, and similarly moment about F2, the another force about O, we can consider F2 into OA cos theta 2, that is F2 into D2. D2 value is OA cos theta 2. Just take OA outside and remaining F2 cos theta 2. F2 cos theta 2 is your Fx2. You can observe here. So whatever the Fx2 you have considered here. So therefore you can write it as OA into Fx2. So just call it as equation 1 and equation 2 and equation 3. So these are all the equation 1, 2, 3 we have obtained by considering the moment at O by F1, F2 and F. Yes, is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So now the resultant along x direction, that is F force, the resultant along x direction is Fx. Fx, that is the summation of component of forces along F1. So means try to understand here. So this is what our two forces and resultant is there. The x component of resultant, that is Fx, is equal to what they are trying to say, Fx is equal to F1x plus F2x. That is the resultant of x direction is equal to the summation of horizontal component of force F1 and F2. This is you aware about this concept. So now for this equation you have to multiply OA on both sides for the simplification. OA on both sides. So now you just multiply this, and by the equation 1, 2, 3, OA into Fx is F into D, OA into Fx1 is F1 into D1, OA into Fx2 is F2 into D2. By substituting that, you can prove that is the moment of resultant. F into D means what? The moment of resultant. Moment of resultant at the point O is equal to the summation of moment of all the forces, that is two forces at the same point, that is M is equal to M1 into M1 plus M2. Thereby we have proved the Varignon's theorem. Thus the algebraic sum of the moment due to F1 and F2 about point O is equal to the moment of their resultant about the same point. Hence we have proved the Varignon's theorem. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So this is about the Varignon's theorem. So let us see the problems.